Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. Okay, I want to read this, and then Rob, if you can get this clip prepared. Ben Shapiro condemns Tucker for downplaying attack on Israel. It's idiocy. It's just moral stupidity. Ben Shapiro strongly condemns Tucker Carlson, accusing him of moral stupidity and criticizing him for downplaying the recent attack. Shapiro called Tucker Carlson comparing between the Israel tragedy and drug abuse deaths in the United States, declaring he's attempting to minimize, as though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time, which is absurd. I'll just let you watch this clip to judge it for yourself. Go ahead, Rob.
A year. Now, you can call it genocide, you can call it whatever you want, but it's the death of over 100,000 Americans a year and the living death of millions.
Well, you can't call it genocide. It's not genocide.
So
sure.
I don't understand.
I'm sorry, people who are addicted to drugs and living outside.
Israel, and again, I want to add my voice to that because I'm a human being. But
oh, sure you do.
You
sound very outraged.
The outrage among Republican presidential candidates was so much more intense. One of them took to a bullhorn and started yelling about it. I get it, but no one would think to do that about the 100,000 American young people murdered every year.
Because who are you yelling at? Who are you yelling at? First of all, people are on bullhorns yelling about drug overdoses and the open border all the time. All the time. What is he even talking about? What he's attempting to do is minimize what happened in Israel. He's not attempting to maximize what happened in the United States. He's attempting to minimize, as though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time, which is absurd. And those two things are nothing alike. I'm sorry, that is not alike. It is not alike for drug smugglers to smuggle drugs over the border, which someone then takes and shoves into their arm, and then they die of an overdose. That is not the same thing. I promise you, it is not the same thing as a terrorist breaking into your home and murdering your children in their beds in front of you and dragging your wife off to be raped in Gaza. That is not the same thing. Pretending that it is immoral. It's a moral blight. It's idiocy. It's just moral stupidity at the highest level. Of course we should care about what happens with fentanyl. Of course we should care about, we should close our border. Have I been unclear about this? Of course America should have closed borders when it comes to this sort of stuff. I'm on the same side as Tucker on that. I just don't understand why he's not on my side when it comes to Hamas has to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Pause it right there.
What exactly is the counter-argument?
Tom. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see how this is playing out because this is sort of a fissure of what's going on in the Republican right. In my opinion, Ben Shapiro just completely owned Tucker Carlson. Let me unpack that a little bit. So the trying to draw equivalency between what Hamas is doing or what ISIS did, whether it becomes rapes, mass murder, intentional genocide, versus the active decision to consume drugs over long periods of time, in some cases, and then die of an overdose is completely, absolutely absurd, the moral equivalence.
Knowing the risk of partying when you did it.
Correct. So And just like Ben said, do we want to fix our borders? Yes. Do we want to stop fentanyl from pouring into our country? Yes. But at the end of the day, people who are using drugs, very few people take it one time and die. Very few. It's a long, slow process. So the decision to actively take drugs, heroin, pills, cocaine, whatever the drug is, and use it and use it and use it and use it and eventually die. Okay, you're making this active decision. Nobody made an active decision in Israel to be sitting in your homes at 6 in the morning, Hamas busts in your door and shoots you and your babies in the head. That is a totally different situation. So in my opinion, Ben Shapiro is spot on this one, and Tucker is just blatantly wrong.
Tom, I have my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I agree. Tucker did not sound outraged, and it sounded like he was balancing the argument. And then Ben gets pretty revved up. Ben's a hawk, and he gets pretty revved up. And I think he is correct that you can't draw moral equivalency with a decisionless thing because you happen to be Jewish and you're attacked, and a decision to be on college campus. Aren't you worried about fentanyl? Yeah, I'm worried about fentanyl. Just get one of those fentanyl test kits. You can get those test kits and you can rub the pill on it, see if there's any fentanyl in there. But yeah, there's a big difference between the two of those, and I think Tucker was could have done a better job and left the door open to kind of be owned by Shapiro.
Here's what I would say. Number one, I think I totally understand Tucker, and I totally understand Ben. Okay, number one, Tucker. What's Tucker's number one loyalty and affinity? America first. What are we talking
America
about?
first.
He's going to sit there and say, yeah, that's your problem. First of all, this Sunday, we're with the family, and for whatever reason, Tico and Dylan wanted to watch Zohan. Okay, I don't know if you guys know Zohan with Adam Sandler, whatever the movie. What's the movie called? The
Don't
Legends of
Mess with
Zohan.
the Zohan.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
By the way, you know the whole story is about how he's a IDF killer soldier, comes to
Mossad
the U.S., wants to work
spy,
for
yes.
Paul Mitchell, cutting care, and he goes and finally becomes this hairstylist at this salon, and the owner of the salon is gorgeous girl who's a Palestinian, and they fall in love, and they're trying to bring peace between Palestine and Israel. What a weird movie to watch at a time like this. Jen and I are looking at each other laughing.
is going on?
But at the same time saying everything he's talking about, they're talking about right now applies to current times. Okay. Ben Tucker's priority is America first. Of course he's going to be about America. He's sitting there saying, dude, these guys have been fighting for 2,000 years. You think I can stop it?
Yeah.
You guys have been fighting for thousands of years. One day America's going to wake up and stop you guys from fighting? It's a joke if we think this fight's going to end up anytime soon. That's how I think that Tucker sees it. But I also see Ben. Guess where Ben is from? There. That's his family. That's where he's from. Of course he's going to be protective of his homeland, his pride, the voice he has for the Jewish community. 100% he's going to see that from an emotional connection to it. One has to sit there and entertain both ideas is all I'm saying. Both could be right, and both could be emotionally leaning towards whatever is protective of theirs.
Yeah.
Tucker's going to protect America, and Ben is going to protect Israel in a way that, hey, we got to make sure this is number one priority. To Tucker, no one in the world has been able to prevent this fight from happening for 2,000 years, including God. You think you can do it?
Yep.
Let them fight. They're going to keep fighting, okay? Let them fight. They're going to go back and forth.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.